So we'll call the meeting to order. As usual, if you want to stand, I guess on the second item, if you want to stand and move around, you're more than welcome to. So we'll start the public hearing. And we have Will here with us from WSP that will give us a presentation. And the floor is yours again.
Thank you very much. Bear with me 1 second as I queue up the presentation. I just want to confirm that everyone can see the title slide there. Can everyone see this title slide?
No, we don't see it yet.
Oh, okay.
No.
This is why I ask these things.
Yeah.
Now can everyone see the title slide?
Yeah, we see it now.
Perfect. All right, sounds great. Okay, so as mentioned, this is a public hearing concerning a land use bylaw map amendment application, which was for a proposed rezoning from the marine industrial zone to the mixed use zone for a property located at 400 Abbotts Harbour Road in Middle West Pubnico. There we go. So just to provide some context for the site, you'll note that this is the West Pubnico Rural Center, and just turning on the handy laser pointer. This is the approximate location of the subject property in the surrounding area in relation to the rural center. In terms of the property itself, so the subject property is encircled in red on the aerial photograph. Again, it's at 400 Abbotts Road in Middle West Pubnico. Property has a lot size of approximately 15,300 square feet and has lot frontage on Abbotts Harbour Road, approximately 97 feet. Property is accessed via Abbotts Harbour Road via private driveway. And there's an existing residential use on the subject property that was developed prior to the current zoning for that subject property. This is a photograph of the subject property taken from Google Street View. So there's an existing dwelling on the subject property visible from the road with driveway access from the left-hand side, so kind of right over here, leading up to the property itself. You'll note a small accessory building on the subject property as well, and the dwelling itself is oriented towards the harbor. This photo, I should note, was taken in September of 2020, so some minor changes may have occurred on the subject property in the interim period. So with regard to the application details, the applicant has applied for a rezoning application, land use bylaw map amendment, from the marine industrial zone to the mixed use zone. The reason being is that the current zoning on the subject property, the MI zone, does not permit residential dwellings as a main use, only as an accessory use. So this makes the current use a legal non-conforming one, and by rezoning the property, it would permit the existing use on this. It would permit in a legal conforming manner the existing use on the subject property, which allows easier transaction for the subject property in regards to future purchase and sales, and future development on the subject property for residential uses as well. So additions or expansions to the existing dwelling. And again, the existing use, that residential dwelling, has been in existence on that subject property for some time and has not generated any compatibility issues or land use conflicts with other marine industrial MI zoned uses that surround it. So with regard to that, you'll note here is the subject property. Currently, it would be blue on a zoning map in that MI zone, and the intention is to essentially what we often refer to as spot zoning, to spot zone that property into the MU zone to bring that residential use into compliance with the appropriate zoning. So you'll note that many of the properties, the properties that are directly adjacent, are all zoned MI. The marine industrial zone, which is used for essentially marine industrial purposes. kind of serving fishing and other related marine industrial land uses and businesses. And the properties just beyond that are zoned MU or mixed use. So certainly it's not out of characteristic for this area to feature that MU zoning, and it would really just change the zoning on that one property to the MU zone. With regard to policy consideration, so a detailed table of the evaluative criteria from the enabling MPS policies and corresponding comments from staff is attached to the report that was circulated. Existing policies in the municipal planning strategy enable council to consider amendments to the land use bylaw regulations without requiring amendments to the municipal planning strategy policy, as both zones share the rural center designation. So both zones are permitted within that designation. Why is the amendment necessary? Again, the existing zoning does not properly accommodate the existing use, and the existing dwelling is not permitted as a main use on a property zoned MI. The proposed amendment would amend the land use bylaw, rural center zoning map B. So the previous map we had seen a couple slides ago, that property gets zoned from MI to MU. With regard to discussion, so the properties immediately adjacent or in proximity to the subject property feature that MI zoning. Those slightly further away, as we had seen in a few slides previously, are zone mixed use. And then the rural center designation, the rural center designation establishes several different zones within the designation, including marine industrial. Apologies, there's a typo there. That should be MI, not LI, and mixed use. No new use is currently being proposed for the subject property, and the proposed change would bring the property into better conformity with the LUB, as the existing use would be fully within that appropriate zone. With regard to the public engagement for this application, staff have complied with the public participation policies of the MPS as per the Municipal Government Act. Public hearing, which we're at tonight, is required for land use bylaw amendments to hear input from the community. Advertisement outlining the application and indicating that it's been received, notifying the public of the public hearing would have been placed into the Vanguard. The public has been encouraged to request additional information and clarification leading up to the public hearing if they have any questions or comments on the proposed rezoning. A sign was placed on the subject property on October 31st of this year, notifying residents that an application was received. And you can look at the flow chart moving from left to right on the screen here. The application was made, public notification occurred, staff evaluation occurred, and there was a PAC meeting where a recommendation to council to approve the land use bylaw map amendment to rezone the property took place on, I believe, November 1st of this year. We're currently at the public hearing, and following this, council will approve or refuse the application. So finally, the recommendation. The Municipality of Argyle Public Works Department Community Development recommends that council approve the land use bylaw map amendment for the property located at 400 Abbotts Harbour Road, PID 900-75474, Middle West Pubnico, to rezone from that marine industrial zone to the mixed use MU zone as indicated in the planner's report. The alternative is that council refuse the proposed land use bylaw map amendment, and in doing so must provide the reasons why the proposed amendments do not reasonably carry out the intent of the MPS. A decision of council to refuse the proposed LUB amendments is appealable to the Nova Scotia Utility and Review Board. And with that, I thank you for your attention. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you. Do we have any questions? So do we have any questions from the public? They're live streaming, or are we on there? Or
Yeah, we are. Yep. There's no question from the public.
no?
If I may,
Sure,
Chair.
Scott.
Just kind of follow up from Will. We did get one resident that made contact with our staff, and he addressed the issue, and we were good there with no concerns. nobody, even though there was a posting out on our social media and through the Vanguard, nobody has reached out to myself. I was a contact person. Nobody has reached out to me with any concerns or questions, or even to register to be at this meeting. And just kind of the next step would be that it will be, the second reading will be at the next regular council meeting, which would be January, I believe, 9th or the 11th. So just kind of want to share that so the public knows and council knows.
So there's no motion to be made.
There is no
For a
motions to be
second
made
reading,
tonight,
okay.
no.
All right. So I guess that covers that. Did you have anything else to add, Will?
No, thank you very much for your attention, and happy holidays.
Yeah, same to you. So do you have any questions, Glenn?
Not so much a question, but being as though it is in my area, I made sure that the people around it did know what was going on. And I talked to a couple of businesses around there and also to one of the neighboring landowners. And they have no problem with it. Might be the same one possibly you people talk with, I'm not sure, but they have no problem with it, so.
That's good.
Yeah, I
So-
appreciate that, Council Digdon. It always helps to reach out and have a contact. I did reach out to one of the businesses there myself too, to kind of explain
Yeah.
what we were doing, and that they had no issues
Exactly.
with that
Yeah,
neither. So
no, good or bad, I want to hear, if people are concerned, I want to hear the concerns. So, yeah, thank you.
Okay. So hearing nothing else, I guess we can adjourn this public hearing. Thank you for coming. And I'm sure if anybody has any questions in the meantime, they can always contact municipality.